Hello friends, my name is Shayla and today I am here to wrap up the first half of May for you with my reading. It's been a little bit of a slower period of time for me, which is okay. I'm not reading a ton of manga or anything right now because I will link a previous video where I kind of talk about it, but I'm not buying any books through the month of May. I had pre-ordered one of the books in my stack and I'll explain which one that is. You can probably guess, honestly. So I'm trying to read what's already on my shelf, which means I had already read through all the manga that I owned. So I am now reading all the books, and those take me a little bit more time. I have chosen some denser, chunkier books to tackle in the month of May because of that, but I am excited about everything that I have read so far this month, with the exception of one, and I will get to that when it comes up in the stack. But as of right now, I have 7 books to talk to you about, so let's just dig right in. First up on this list is an advanced copy of a republish of a book that I received from Forever Romance Books, and that is called Then There Was You by Miranda Liason. Liason? I'm not 100% sure. I probably should have checked that out before I hit record. But anyway, in this book, we are in this small town called Angel Falls. We follow 2 characters. We follow Sarah, who is a somewhat jilted fiance. She was basically left, the wedding was called off like 2 days before the wedding, a year prior to the beginning of this book, and small town hunky police chief slash former friend of the ex-fiance, Colton, are the main 2 characters we follow as they start running into each other once again and beginning to reconnect as friends, because it's a small town and they need to kind of get over that, and later on as something more. This is a really fun coming into yourself, coming of age, smutty romance book. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I will have a full review on this coming soon, so look forward to that. Next up, we have a fun little romp of a book, and that is My Lady's Choosing. This is a choose-your-own-adventure romance novel. Now, this totally sent me back to junior high because it was very much like the choose your own adventure. You would read a couple pages and it's like, if you want this to happen, flip to page 67. If you want this to happen, flip to page 200. And it really just gave me all those really nostalgic feels as I went through it. I went through the 4 different storylines that you can. I thought they were really fun. I thought they were very well thought out, well put together, and I did do them in a choose your own adventure kind of way. So I had a choose your own adventure with all 4 of our possible romantic protagonists. And it was really fun, and they insert you in it, so it's really just fun. I had a great time with this book, honestly. This is not going to be everybody's kind of book. Like, this is very tongue-in-cheek, very satirical kind of book. I ended up giving this 4 stars because I had a great time with it. So if you don't like that tongue-in-cheek satire, or you're not very familiar with romance novel tropes, you probably won't find this very funny, and it'll just be kind of a meh book for you. Just being totally and completely honest. I read a lot of romance novels, especially recently, and so I found this book a wild, fun ride. I was laughing out loud, like I was belly laughing with the tropes in this. I had a great time with it. Again, I gave it 4 stars. This is not going to be for everybody, but if it sounds like a fun adventure to you, do it. I highly suggest it. If you're a little leery, maybe check it out from your library, borrow it from a friend, whatever. But don't do this on an ebook or an audiobook. Like, this needs to be read so that you can enjoy the flipping back and forth. It adds a sense of adventure to the story. Next up is the buddy read that I did with April Sarah. April Sarah and I have a tendency to buddy read at least 1 book a month, sometimes 2. If you have not checked out her channel, clearly you're new here, so go ahead and check out her channel. She's a doll. She's one of my favorites, and she's just the best. And she's got pink streaks in her hair, and she's lovely. Anyways, I could go on about April forever, but the book we decided to read together in the month of May was Summerlong by Peter S. Beagle. Now, we both love and adore The Last Unicorn, which is why we were so excited when we found this Hades and Persephone retelling of Summerlong by Peter S. Beagle. Sadly, we were both sorely disappointed. We did not like the way he interpreted Hades and Persephone. So, in this book, we mainly follow 3 characters. We follow Lioness, our Persephone character. And then we follow an older couple of Abe and Joanna. They've not been married, but they've been living together peaceably for 22 years. And Joanna has a daughter, Lily, who also plays a part in the story. Again, this was kind of a disappointing one for me. It was a little weird, a little quirky. The only thing that saved this book for me was Beagle's lyrical writing. I ended up giving this a solid 3 stars. Because for me, the story was a 1, the writing was a 5, so I settled right in the middle at a 3. I was really sad because I really love The Last Unicorn. So I think I'm just going to stick with his older works. This is his most recent work, and I was not very pleased with it. So I'm going to have to check out more of his older things to see if I enjoy his writing in general, or if The Last Unicorn is just that one-off of his that I like. Next up, we have a very controversial book, according to BookTube, and that is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the current problematic book of the moment here on BookTube, and I can see why people would have problems with it, but I don't care. I'm a trash can, apparently, because I still really enjoyed it. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really liked seeing these characters in a relative time of peace. This very much picks up shortly after the events of A Court of Wings and Ruin. And this is just a little snapshot, a little 2-week snapshot of them around Christmas time. Do I think this book should have been released in the fall instead of in the spring? Yeah. I'm not going to argue that fact. I think it would have been much more enjoyable. People probably would have eased into the story a little bit better. Are there things that are wrong and problematic about this book? Yeah. All of Sarah J. Maas's books have problems in them. Who cares? I'm a trash can. I like them anyway. I read this purely for enjoyment value, and I got what I wanted out of it. I thought it was fun. I really liked being with the characters again. I liked being back in the Night Court, and that's where I stand with it. I'll have a whole video coming out soon about problematic books and liking them, so stay tuned and look for that. The next book on this list was part of the Read Seven Waters read-along that April over on her channel is doing. I will leave a video explaining when and what to read for that particular read-along down below, and go ahead and check that out and come and join us, because it is for the Seven Waters series. This is book 2 in the Seven Waters series. Before this point, I had only read the first book, Daughter of the Forest. Now, comparing this to Daughter of the Forest, I still like Daughter of the Forest better. As a whole, though, it is still a good book. It still is gut-wrenching to read. These books always are. They definitely tug at every heartstring you have. They are rough, they are gritty, but I still like them. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I gave Daughter of the Forest 5 stars. This one, the story didn't connect nearly as much with me as the first story did. I can't really tell you much of what this is about, other than we follow Sorsha, the main character of the previous book's children, the next generation of the Seven Waters family. That's about all I can tell you about this book without spoilers. So that's all I'm going to tell you. But all in all, I ended up liking the characters that we followed. I did not find the story nearly as engaging as the first story, but I will, again, be continuing on with the series. I do have the 3rd book here already, so I will be picking that up relatively soon. All right, we are at book 6 of 7, people. 2 more books. All right, this next one is one that I have a bit of mixed feelings about, but I generally liked, so let's just get into it. We are talking about Jekyll/Hyde by Amy Ross. Now, this is a Jekyll and Hyde retelling/reimagining. I love the interpretation of Jekyll and Hyde. I do not like the route in which they chose to do it. It makes complete sense. It's definitely a modern take on Jekyll and Hyde, but it deals a lot with drug culture. So if you're not comfortable with drug culture at all, avoid this book like the plague. It is not a realm I'm terribly comfortable in or familiar with, for that matter, but I am very familiar with Jekyll and Hyde and how rough and gritty that is, and all of that came across in this novel. So I do think if you enjoy Jekyll and Hyde, you will most likely enjoy this as well. Again, it doesn't have a pretty flowery ending because it's Jekyll and Hyde. It's not supposed to. So if you're going to go in expecting this romanticized, pretty version of Jekyll and Hyde, you're not getting it. Nope, 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 not happening. Because that is just not how this story works. So anyways, I ended up landing on 4 stars with this one. I knocked off the full star because we're dealing with drug culture in a small town. And that just feels almost cliche and stereotypical. But the way it came across works for a modern retelling of Jekyll and Hyde. So again, I enjoyed this. I'm not sure I'm gonna ever read it again. I might give it a second chance. If not, then I definitely will be donating this. I think it needs to be read. I think it's great. So again, if you're interested in all, or you know you like Jekyll and Hyde, check out this one. I do think it's worth a read. And last but not least is Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. Now this is the Shay Geeks Out book club pick for the month of May. I will leave our book club linked down below. There's still a couple weeks. You can still join us before we're discussing it. So go ahead and check out the book club and come join us for the discussion in a couple weeks. Now, I landed again on 4 stars with this particular book. This is Anastasia in space, essentially, but it definitely has some twists and turns that make it its own. I don't even know that I would call it a true Anastasia story. This is more like a space opera in which we explore whether AI are sentient beings and whether an AI can feel love. And I did find it a fun exploration. It does have notes of Anastasia, but if you're expecting like a true to-the-book Anastasia story, you're not going to get it. Another thing we have in here is we do have some diversity. We've got a nice diverse couple in here. In some ways, I feel like it was thrown in there just for diversity's sake, which makes me a little bit sad. But I do think the way the author brought the couple into it did work for the story. So, anyways, like I say, I settled on a 4. It's not a perfect book, and it is an enjoyable book. I will get into more of my thoughts, obviously, in the book club discussion, so go ahead and join us again in the book club. So that's it, guys. Those are the 7 books that I read in the first half of the month of May. Let me know in the comments down below what you've read so far this month, and I will see you guys in the next one. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and welcome if you're new. Again, my name is Shay, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.